All right, hey, everybody watching this, lean in for a second. Yeah, you with the shaking hands, the buzzing notifications, the heart that's racing like it's trying to break out of your chest. Because, bro, what did you post? Your receipts just set the entire internet on fire, and now every single eye is locked on you. And you're sitting there trying to make sense of it, trying to understand why one screenshot, one truth bomb, one accidental moment of realness suddenly turned you into the main character of a global meltdown. So listen closely, because I'm only gonna say this once, and you need to hear it like your life depends on it. You didn't ruin anything, you just exposed it. And that's the part that scares them. You ever notice how people love the truth until it's their masks getting ripped off? Until it's their secrets dragged into the light? Until it's their little curated image cracking like cheap makeup after a long night? You didn't cause drama. You didn't start a fire. You just held up the mirror. And everyone panicked when they finally saw themselves. That screenshot, that post, that moment. It wasn't chaos. It was justice, modern, digital, brutal. The kind no one can run from, and deep down, you know it. You've been quiet for too long. You've swallowed your truth. You've protected people who wouldn't spit in your direction if you were on fire. You've taken blame, covered tracks, stayed humble, stayed calm, stayed unproblematic, just so everyone else could keep pretending. But then, you snapped, and yeah, maybe it wasn't planned. Maybe you didn't expect the algorithm to throw gasoline on your honesty. Maybe you didn't expect millions of eyes to widen at once, but here you are. And tell me something. When you saw the world react, when you watched that post go nuclear, didn't a tiny part of you feel relief? Not joy, not revenge, relief. Because finally, someone else gets to carry the weight. Someone else gets to face what you faced. Someone else gets to feel the sting of exposure. You didn't betray anyone. You stopped betraying yourself. See, the world loves to talk until it's you doing the talking. These people, they want you quiet. They want you obedient. They want you predictable, manageable, soft, apologetic. Not because you're wrong, but because your truth is expensive. It costs them their reputation. It costs them their narrative. It costs them the comfort they built on top of your silence. And now they can't scroll 3 centimeters without seeing your name, your receipts, your reality. You didn't lose control. You took it back. Let me tell you something most people never learn. The internet doesn't actually ruin anyone. It just amplifies what was already broken. If your screenshot destroyed them, they were fragile long before you hit post. If your truth set the world on fire, the world must have been drenched in gasoline. If your receipts went viral, that means millions recognized the pattern because they've lived it, survived it, or feared it. You're not the villain here. You're not the problem. You're the reminder nobody wanted. The reminder that actions have consequences, screenshots have memories, and silence has an expiration date. And you're done being quiet. You're done hiding. You're done protecting people who wouldn't protect you. You're done letting guilt trick you into shrinking. You want honesty? Fine. Here it is. You posted what everyone else was too scared to. You exposed what everyone else tiptoed around. You told a truth so heavy, the internet couldn't help but collapse under the weight of it. That's not recklessness. That's courage. Even if your voice was shaking, even if your finger hesitated above the button, even if a little voice whispered, "Bro, don't do this." you did it anyway. And that's power. You know what's funny? People are acting like your post came out of nowhere. As if you didn't warn them, as if you didn't drop hints, as if you weren't patient, calm, reasonable. You gave chances, you gave warnings, you gave them every opportunity to do the right thing. They didn't. So the universe used you as the loudspeaker. Let them panic, let them scramble, let them call you dramatic or messy or doing too much. Because deep down, they know. You didn't lie. You didn't twist anything. You just showed them the mirror they've been dodging their whole lives. And the truth isn't supposed to be polite. It's not supposed to be cute. It's not supposed to keep everyone comfortable. It's supposed to be real, like you. You feel that right now? That pressure in your chest, that fear and adrenaline cocktail, that oh my God, did I just change everything? Feeling good, because that's not guilt, that's growth. That's you stepping into a version of yourself that no longer apologizes for having a backbone. That's you realizing your voice carries more weight than you ever gave it credit for. That's you understanding, finally, that you're done being the quiet one in the corner, while everyone else plays with your narrative like it's a toy. This is the part where people either respect you or fear you. Both are fine. So here's what I want you to understand. You didn't lose anything today. Not friends, not reputation, not stability. You lost illusions. You lost fake peace. You lost people who depended on your silence. That's not a loss. That's liberation. You didn't light the fire. You just refused to keep covering the smoke. And now the world finally sees it. So stand up, straighten your back, stop overthinking every comment, stop apologizing for telling the truth. Because, whether you're ready or not, you just became someone people can't ignore anymore. And, the wild part is you're still sitting there trying to process it like you accidentally bumped a domino, when in reality you kicked an entire wall that was already cracked straight down the middle. You keep replaying the moment you hit post, thinking you unleashed something unnatural. But the truth is, everybody was already whispering, already suspicious, already watching the cracks spread. Your screenshot didn't create the collapse. It just gave everyone permission to admit they saw it too. You ever notice how people act shocked when the truth finally gets loud? Like they weren't the same ones feeding the rumors, adding fuel behind the scenes, waiting for someone with a spine to finally say what they were too afraid to say out loud. You stepped into that space without even meaning to, like a person who suddenly realizes they're holding a megaphone when the room goes quiet. You didn't plan the moment, it just needed you. And you happened to be the one brave or tired enough to stop pretending. And you can feel the energy shift, right? That strange mix of fear, pride, adrenaline. Damn, did I really just do that? Wrapped in one tangled ball of emotion. It's messy, it's loud, it's uncomfortable, but it's real. You're starting to understand that your voice doesn't just echo. It hits, it lands, it resonates in places you never expected. People are replaying your post right now, like it's evidence in a case they've been waiting to solve for years. You're probably scrolling through reactions thinking, bro, why is everyone acting like I dropped a bomb? Because you did. Not the destructive kind, the revelatory kind. The type that blasts people awake, forces truth into the room whether the room likes it or not. There's a whole world of folks who've been sitting with their own receipts, their own scars, their own screenshots they never had the courage to share. And suddenly, you're the blueprint they didn't know they needed. You're the one showing them it's okay to stop protecting what broke them. And, you can feel that weird empowerment creeping up on you, even as the anxiety taps at your shoulder. That sensation like, wait, I'm allowed to stand up for myself like this. I'm allowed to let the truth speak without sugarcoating it. Yeah, you are. And you did. And even you can't deny how different it feels to finally breathe without swallowing parts of yourself just to keep others comfortable. People are realizing you're not the person they thought they could walk over. They're realizing you're not the one they can guilt trip into silence anymore. That version of you, the timid, apologizing, overthinking, self-blaming version, got pushed aside the second your finger hit that post button. You didn't mean to let them know who you've become, but that's exactly what happened. You exposed more than a situation. You exposed you, the version you've been hiding for way too long. And while everyone else is panicking, dissecting, overanalyzing, trying to figure out what this means for them, you're starting to feel something different settling in your chest. A sense of weight shifting. A new clarity. Like you're finally seeing the game for what it is. Like all those moments where you bit your tongue. All those times you let things slide. All those nights you sat awake replaying conversations. They just snapped into alignment. People love to pretend they're unbothered until the truth comes with receipts. And the funniest part? The same ones calling you messy right now are the same ones who prayed for someone bold enough to challenge the narrative. They wanted a hero, but they're mad it turned out to be you. They wanted the truth, but they're furious it came with consequences. They wanted exposure, but not on their doorstep. You're not out here trying to ruin anyone. You're just refusing to let them keep rewriting the script of your life while you sit quietly in the background nodding along. And honestly, it's throwing people off how unapologetically real you suddenly became. They're used to the version of you that doesn't shake things up, doesn't push back, doesn't disrupt the peace. They're looking at you like you mutated overnight when in reality, you finally stopped playing a role that never fit. There's this moment, right after a truth goes public, where your brain tries to convince you that you went too far, where you question yourself and start spiraling, thinking maybe you should have stayed silent. But listen, that's just the ghost of your old self tugging at your sleeve. That's the habit of self-suppression, trying to drag you back into the box you fought so hard to crawl out of. That feeling isn't guilt, it's detox. You're flushing out years of shrinking yourself. And, you can tell by how people are reacting that they never expected you to evolve like this. They thought you'd always be predictable, always be safe, always be the let me stay quiet to keep everyone else happy type. But that post, that moment, it was the signal that the version of you they depended on is gone. You're stepping into a territory where you don't owe anyone silence. You don't owe anyone comfort. You don't owe anyone a watered-down version of your truth. Every notification hitting your phone right now is a reminder that your voice traveled further than your fear ever could. Every comment, every share, every shocked reaction is proof that you said something the world was already thinking. And even if you're overwhelmed right now, even if you're pacing back and forth wondering how big this wave is gonna get, there's a part of you standing taller than ever because you finally let the truth breathe without apologizing for it. And you can feel it deep down, under the nerves, under the noise, that something in you unlocked the moment you stopped protecting people who wouldn't last a day protecting you. And The crazy thing is, you can literally feel this calm starting to slip into your system, even while everything around you is loud as hell. Like your mind is finally catching up to who you've become, not who you were pretending to be. It's that weird stillness that shows up right after you stop begging people to treat you right and start showing them what happens when they don't. That shift hits different. It's not anger. It's not revenge. It's not pettiness. It's alignment. Real alignment. The kind that sneaks up on you the moment you stop carrying guilt that never belonged to you in the first place. You're looking at your phone, and every notification feels like another layer peeling off your past self. Not in a bad way, more like you're shedding the version of you that kept everything bottled up so you wouldn't rock the boat. The version of you that swallowed disrespect and called it being the bigger person. The version of you that tried to keep peace with people who were allergic to honesty. That person was exhausted. That person was drowning. That person finally snapped, not out of rage, but out of self-preservation. People don't get how heavy silence can be when you're the one holding the truth. You've been walking around carrying things that weren't even yours to carry, trying to protect people who would have thrown you to the wolves without blinking. And the moment you hit post, it's like the weight finally acknowledged itself. It's like the pressure you've been ignoring for years finally whispered, enough. You didn't expose anyone. You freed yourself. You cracked open a door you've been pushing against from the inside for way too long. You can tell by how folks are reacting that they never expected you to reclaim your voice. They thought they had you figured out. They had you labeled as the quiet one, the reasonable one, the "it's fine, don't worry about it" one. They didn't think you'd ever step out of that costume because it suited them, not you. They're shocked because they were banking on your silence like it was a permanent personality trait. They never factored in your breaking point. They never imagined your backbone would show up at full volume. And, you're probably noticing all the people who were neutral suddenly choosing sides. It's always like that when the truth erupts. The ones who benefited from your silence act confused. The ones who feared your voice act offended. The ones who secretly agreed with you act relieved. Everyone reveals themselves when the truth becomes loud enough that nobody can pretend anymore. Your post didn't just expose a situation. It exposed people, their values, their motives, their loyalty, or lack of it. You're starting to realize something nobody taught you growing up. Speaking up doesn't make you problematic. It makes you powerful. And, that power feels strange at first, almost uncomfortable, because you're not used to taking up space without apologizing for it. You're not used to telling your side without softening the edges. But the more you sit with it, the more you breathe through it, the more you understand that this version of you, the unfiltered, unshrunk, unedited version, has been trying to surface for years. You can feel the old habits tugging, trying to pull you back into silence. That little voice saying, "Maybe I shouldn't have posted that," is just the echo of a lifetime of doubting your own significance. But, that echo fades quicker each time you remind yourself that everything you said was real. Every screenshot was real. Everything you exposed was something you lived through. You're not inflating anything. You're not stirring anything. You're not exaggerating. You're telling the truth people prayed you'd stay quiet about. And you know what's even more wild? All the people who were so bold behind closed doors suddenly can't find their voice. They're scrambling, backtracking, redirecting, trying to paint you as dramatic because you finally told the story from your point of view. They're not mad you posted. They're mad you posted first. They're mad they didn't get to spin it. They're mad the narrative is no longer theirs to control. You're watching all of this unfold, and a part of you is finally starting to breathe. Not because everything is peaceful, but because everything is honest. You're not hiding anymore. You're not walking around pretending. You're not letting anyone gaslight you into thinking your experiences were not that deep. You're standing in the middle of the storm you didn't create but finally acknowledged, and for the first time, you're not shrinking. Your receipts hit harder than you expected because your truth was heavier than you allowed yourself to admit. And seeing the world react to it, seeing people gasp, argue, defend, deny, reflect, it's making you understand something you never let yourself believe. Your voice actually matters. Your perspective actually matters. Your boundaries actually matter. Your truth actually matters. And that realization is only getting louder. And the longer this whole thing unfolds, the more you can feel this unfamiliar strength settling into your skin like it's been waiting for an invitation. It's not loud, not dramatic, not explosive. It's steady. It's that grounded type of power you get when you finally stop doubting your own perception. You're not sitting there asking, did I overreact? Or was I being too extra? Anymore. You're looking at the reactions, the panic, the excuses, the sudden explanations, and you're realizing you didn't imagine a single thing. There's this weird clarity that comes after you speak your truth publicly, almost like a fog lifting that you didn't even know was there. You start replaying moments you brushed off, conversations you ignored, feelings you suppressed because you didn't want to be that person. And it hits you that you weren't overthinking. You were just picking up on things people hoped you wouldn't notice. That intuition you kept silencing is suddenly screaming, "See, I was never wrong." What's even more wild is how quickly people switch up when they realize you're not scared of your own voice anymore. The same folks who felt comfortable playing with your name are suddenly talking softer. The same ones who dismissed your concerns are suddenly scrambling, trying to make themselves look innocent. The same ones who underestimated you are watching you like you're unpredictable, and honestly, they're right. You stopped being predictable the moment you stopped being silent. You're catching yourself walking differently, talking differently, thinking differently, because, the version of you that everyone took advantage of doesn't live here anymore. You're growing into someone who doesn't apologize for having boundaries. You're becoming someone who doesn't let guilt talk you out of protecting your peace. You're stepping into a version of yourself that doesn't need permission to defend your reality. And there's something almost therapeutic about watching the truth rearrange the room. You can see people revealing who they've always been, some stepping closer, quietly supporting, because they always knew you weren't lying but didn't want to interfere. Some distancing themselves, not because they're neutral, but because your courage threatens their comfort. Some pretending they didn't see anything, when you know damn well they've been lurking on every update. Digital silence is loud when you know how to listen. You're learning that not everyone who's around you is actually with you. And it's hitting you that your silence was the glue holding relationships together that shouldn't have survived in the first place. You weren't being peaceful. You were being drained. You weren't being understanding. You were being used. You weren't being mature. You were avoiding conflict that was already there, just hidden under layers of manipulation and fake smiles. All right, listen up. Yeah, I know you probably weren't expecting somebody like me to talk to you straight like this, but hey, today's different. Today, you're gonna hear what nobody else ever had the guts or the honesty to tell you. So don't blink, don't overthink, don't flinch, just take it in. Because people out there keep whispering that he's a beast, right? A monster, a problem, a whole damn situation wrapped in flesh. They act like he's untouchable, like he walks through the world with no fear, like nothing can shake him, nothing can scar him, nothing can get inside that thick skull and rattle it. But you are the one thing that could break his ass for real. And the crazy part, you don't even realize the power you carry. You're sitting here telling yourself you're just trying, just living, just doing your best. While someone out there, someone everyone else fears, literally loses his mind at the idea that you might give up on him. See, you don't understand something fundamental about yourself. You move differently, you talk differently, you hit differently. And I'm not talking about physical punches. Relax. I'm talking about the way your presence rearranges people's insides. The way your existence makes certain people confront parts of themselves they've been running from for years. He's out there being a savage, a menace, a whole force of nature. But the second your name crosses his mind, boom, everything he built starts shaking. Because here's the truth you keep forgetting. You're not soft, you're not weak, you're not too nice or too emotional or too forgiving. Nah, you're the type of person whose absence hits harder than any punch, whose silence burns deeper than any scar, whose disappointment can take a man built like a monster and drop him to his knees without even touching him. Think about that for a second. The world fears him, but he fears losing you. Let that sink into your bones. Let it settle in the places inside you that people tried to convince you were empty. You know what people don't tell you? Power isn't always loud. It's not always violent. It's not always wrapped in big actions or dramatic moments. Real power, the kind that bends people's pride and ego, the kind that makes someone who's been untouchable suddenly feel exposed. That kind of power sits quietly inside you. It lingers in your loyalty. It hides in your consistency. It glows in your heart even when you feel like it's dimming. People like you, the ones who love deeply, fight silently, and move with real intention. You're the ones monsters fear. Not because you could destroy them physically, but because you could destroy them emotionally. You could make them feel something real in a world full of fakes, and that terrifies them more than bullets, more than enemies, more than failure. And you keep downplaying your power like it's nothing. You keep trying to shrink yourself, fit in, stay low maintenance, stay quiet, stay unproblematic. Meanwhile, the strongest people you'll ever meet are losing sleep over the thought of you not wanting them anymore. You don't realize what your presence does to people who have never felt seen before. You don't realize what your absence does to people who finally felt something real. You think he's a beast because of how he acts out there. Nah. He becomes a beast because he knows what losing you would do to him. Because you bring him a clarity the world stripped away. Because you remind him of the version of himself he thought died a long time ago. Because around you, he doesn't get to pretend. He doesn't get to hide. He doesn't get to posture like he's unstoppable. You stop him. You disarm him. You unmask him. And when someone like you has that effect on someone like him, that's when the whole world starts paying attention. Because beasts don't break easily. They don't fall apart for just anyone. They don't panic because of just any face. They don't shake because of just any goodbye. But you could ruin him. You could collapse his whole world with one decision, one moment of silence, one shift in your energy, one "I'm done." And he knows it. That's why he's careful with you in ways he isn't with anyone else. That's why he hesitates before saying something reckless to you. That's why he cares about how you see him more than how the whole damn world sees him. You ever wonder why someone so fearless becomes so vulnerable around you? Why someone so untouchable suddenly looks touchable only in your presence? Why someone who doesn't bow to pressure suddenly folds when you're disappointed? It's because you're not just another person in his life. You're the emotional kryptonite he can't outsmart. You're the one battle he can't win with aggression. You're the one force he can't dominate or control. You're the one truth he can't outrun. And, here's the punchline nobody ever tells you. Being the one thing that could break him doesn't make you dangerous. It makes you precious, rare, irreplaceable. The kind of person life only hands out once. People like you don't come around twice. And beasts like him, they know that. They feel that. That's why he's terrified of losing you. Because deep down, he knows he'd survive everything except the day you stop believing in him. So stop acting like you're powerless. Stop acting like you're disposable. Stop acting like anyone could replace you. They can't. And he knows that better than anyone, even if he'd never admit it out loud. You're the reason his armor cracks. You're the reason his ego softens. You're the reason his soul wakes up. You're the reason the beast becomes human again. You're the one thing that could break his ass for real. And the one thing he'd do anything to never lose again. Because the truth is, you don't even see what you do to people. You walk around thinking you're just trying to hold it together, just trying to stay loyal, just trying to not fall apart again. And meanwhile, this man, this so-called beast, gets hit with a whole emotional earthquake every time you breathe in his direction. And it's wild, right? Everyone else is out here scared of him, flinching when he walks by, acting like he's some walking warning sign. But you're the only one who makes him feel like he's standing on unstable ground. You're the only one who makes him rethink his tone, his choices, his whole damn personality. He'll never admit it, but you can literally see it in his eyes when he looks at you. There's this tiny flicker like, "Please don't disappear on me." That kind of power. You don't stumble into it. You are it. It's embedded in your energy, in your presence, in the way you listen without judging, the way you care without broadcasting it, the way you show up even when you're tired. People like him. They're not built to receive love that pure. It exposes every weak point they've been hiding behind all that toughness and bravado. You ever notice how he gets quiet around you? How his voice drops, how his shoulders loosen, how his whole tough guy shtick melts the second you say his name, with that tone. That's not softness, that's surrender, and he only does that with you, even if he pretends it's nothing. He's terrified you'll realize the extent of your pull. He's terrified you'll look at him one day and think, yeah, I don't want this anymore. Because he knows damn well that your detachment would hit harder than any bullet life could throw at him. He can fight enemies. He can survive chaos. He can outsmart danger. He can handle pressure. But he can't handle the idea of you choosing not to care. That's the one battlefield where he loses every time, and he knows it. And you've been sitting here underestimating yourself like you don't change the whole emotional climate of the people who get close to you. You think you're too much or hard to love, or complicated. But what you really are is impactful. You're the type of person who doesn't just touch someone's life. You rearrange it. You make people confront themselves, evolve, grow. And that scares the hell out of them, because growth hurts. Especially for someone who built their whole identity around being unshakable. And it's crazy how you think you're the fragile one. You think you're the one who's easy to break, easy to manipulate, easy to overlook. Meanwhile, the strongest person in the room folds emotionally every time they feel you pulling away even a little bit. That's not fragility, that's influence, that's emotional gravity. That's power they can't replicate, can't replace, can't forget, even if life drags them across concrete. You're the one thing he can't control. He can intimidate the world, but he can't intimidate you. He can scare the hell out of people, but he can't scare you into staying. He can dominate every room he walks into, but he can't dominate how you feel about him. You stand there, unintentionally holding the one card he can't play himself. The card that decides whether he keeps the part of himself he only ever shows you, or whether he loses it forever. And you wonder why he watches you so closely, why he listens to your words even when he pretends he's tuning you out, why he circles back after arguments, why he cares what you think even when he's acting like he doesn't. It's because you're not like the world he fights every day. You're the part of him he never thought he deserved, but somehow ended up needing more than anything. You're the reminder that he's still human under all that armor, and that scares him more than anything he's ever faced out there. This is why he acts different with you. This is why he calms down when you speak. This is why he tries even when he swears he's done trying. This is why he stays even when he's convinced he's better off alone. Because what he feels around you isn't weakness, it's exposure. And exposure is dangerous for someone who built his life on never letting anyone get close enough to see the cracks. You're the only one who sees the cracks. You're the only one he'll let see them. You're the only one who can widen them or heal them. You're the only one whose choices rearrange his entire emotional structure. You're the only one who could break him without lifting a finger. With just one shift in your energy, one withdrawal of affection, one change in the way you look at him. And he knows it every time he looks at you, every time he waits for your reaction, at every time he catches himself caring too much, every time he feels that panic in his chest when you go quiet, every time he realizes you're the only person who hits the part of him he swore nobody would ever reach. And, it hits him in ways he'll never admit out loud. Because admitting it would mean confessing that you're the only person alive who could actually hurt him. Not physically, emotionally, spiritually, internally. Right in that place he's boarded up, welded shut, and buried under 10 layers of attitude and trauma. And you don't even try. That's the wildest part about all of this. You're not manipulating anything. You're not playing games. You're not out here weaponizing your presence. You're just being you. You show up with that calm energy, that quiet look, that I'm here but I'm not gonna force myself into your chaos vibe. And suddenly this man who scares everybody else is stumbling emotionally like he forgot how to stand upright. He'll walk through fire for things that don't matter, but he'll walk on eggshells for you because you matter. And he doesn't know how to act around someone whose opinion could collapse him from the inside out. You ever catch the way he double-checks your expression when he says something harsh? He can curse out the world without blinking. He can talk reckless to anybody, but the second he thinks he hurt you, his whole demeanor switches. His voice drops, his ego shrinks, His eyes soften. He tries to pretend he doesn't care, but his body language betrays him every single time. Because losing your respect? Yeah, that's the kind of hit he wouldn't recover from. He'd rather take a punch to the face than feel you disconnect emotionally. He'd rather be betrayed by 10 people than see disappointment in your eyes once. He'd rather fight 1,000 battles than fight the feeling of you drifting. And he's never had that before. People fear him, people obey him, people follow him. But you don't fear him, you don't obey him, you don't shrink for him, you don't fall apart just because he raises his voice. You stand there with that, okay, but why are you talking to me like that? Look, and that alone destabilizes him more than any enemy ever has, because he doesn't know what to do with someone who sees through the armor he's been hiding behind his whole life. You're the one person who makes the mask useless. You're the one person who talks to the human underneath the beast, the human. He doesn't trust anyone else to see the human. He probably doesn't even trust himself to be. And it's not even about romance or drama or whatever storyline people try to project. It's deeper. It's that soul-level recognition that freaks him out. It's that emotional clarity you bring without trying. It's that sense of being understood without liking the feeling of being understood, because, understanding makes him vulnerable, and vulnerability makes him feel exposed. He'll go toe-to-toe with demons he created. He'll confront ghosts from his past. He'll bite back at critics and enemies. But he won't know how to respond to you saying, "That hurt me," in a soft voice. Because that's the kind of pain he can't armor up against. That's the kind of pain he can't fight with fists or rage. That's the kind of pain that forces him to look inward. And inward is where all the stuff he's been avoiding actually lives. And he hates that you can take him there. Not out of resentment, out of fear. Fear of being seen, fear of being known, fear of being held accountable emotionally by someone he actually cares about. You think he doesn't care. He cares in ways that keep him up at night, replaying conversations you forgot about hours ago. He cares in ways that mess with his appetite, his patience, his mood. He cares in ways that make him check the phone twice, then pretend he doesn't care about the notification he's hoping is yours. He cares in ways that make him reevaluate his whole personality when you fall silent for too long. And, if you ever pulled away for real. Not the "I'm tired" version, not the "I need a break" version, but the real detachment, the real shutting down, the real, "You don't get that part of me anymore." Yeah. That would wreck him. Not because he's weak, but because you are the only person who touches that hidden emotional wiring he swore nobody would ever access. You're not just the one thing that could break him, you're the only thing that makes him feel alive enough to even fear being broken in the first place. And every time he looks at you, he feels that truth tightening around his ribcage in a way he can't control, and it terrifies him in a way the world never could. And, it's wild because you don't even realize half the time when you hit him in those places he hides from the whole world. You'll just say something casually. Nothing crazy, nothing deep, just honest. And it's like you accidentally opened a door inside him he's been barricading for years. He'll act normal on the outside, nod his head, maybe give that little half smirk he uses to hide how much something actually affected him. But inside he's spiraling, replaying your words, dissecting them, trying to figure out why his chest suddenly feels too tight. And it's not because he's soft. He's not soft with the world. He's soft with you in ways he can't control. That's the part he can't stand admitting, even to himself. This whole beast persona, that's survival mode, that's trauma armor. That's him doing whatever he had to do to not get eaten alive by life. But when it comes to you, none of that armor stays on. It falls off without you even touching it. And that level of emotional nakedness? Yeah, that's the kind of thing that makes someone like him feel unsteady, off balance, human, in a way nobody ever prepared him for. He'll hear your voice and suddenly the rage he had a second ago dissolves. He'll see your name pop up and his entire body does that little shift. Like he's bracing for impact, but wanting it at the same time. He'll argue with you and pretend he's fine afterward, but that argument will sit in his stomach for days because he can handle conflict with anybody except you. Your disappointment hits him where fear used to live. And it's almost funny how he tries to hide it. He'll act like he's busy or cold or detached, thinking you won't notice. But the moment he senses you're actually pulling away, everything changes. His voice changes. His approach changes. His energy shifts, like he's internally grabbing onto something before it slips through his fingers. You have to understand, he's not scared of rejection in general. He's been rejected before. He's been betrayed, abandoned, underestimated, all of it. He's numb to most of that by now. But losing you? That's different. That hits a part of him he doesn't have defenses for. You're the only thing he can't prepare for emotionally, because you're the only person he never built a shield against. And it's because you walked into his life without trying to change him, without trying to compete with him, without trying to dominate him, without shrinking or being intimidated, and without feeding the ego he uses to protect himself. You talked to him like a human when everyone else treated him like a threat. You showed him softness without weakness. You offered understanding without excuses. You gave him patience without letting him walk all over you. You cared without begging. You listened without judging. You held him accountable without humiliating him. Nobody ever did all that at once. Nobody even came close. And, that's why you got under his skin the way you did. That's why you stayed there. That's why your absence would destroy parts of him he's not ready to face. Because you don't just matter to him. You stabilize parts of him he didn't know were wobbling. You calm storms he pretended didn't exist. You reach emotions he swore were dead. You trigger insecurities he buried so deep he forgot where he put them. You pull out humanity he thought he lost. He hates that. He loves that. He's terrified of that. He needs that. And the craziest part is, he knows you could break him on accident. Just by changing your tone. Just by going quiet. Just by pulling back. Just by caring a little less than you did yesterday. Just by choosing yourself in a moment where he expected you to choose him. You don't have to yell. You don't have to threaten. You don't have to leave. You don't have to slam doors. Your emotional distance alone could shatter him in places nothing else ever reached. Because you're not his weakness. You're his mirror. And he's terrified of what he sees in it. And even more terrified of losing the one reflection that makes him feel like there's still something worth fixing inside him. And, it's the way you look at him that really gets under his skin, even when you don't realize you're doing anything at all. You give him that steady, evaluating look, nothing judgmental, nothing dramatic, just that quiet, I see you energy. And it hits him in a place he didn't even know was reachable. Everybody else looks at him with fear, or admiration, or hate, or envy. You're the only one who looks at him like he's a person, not a threat, or a headline, or some unbreakable creature made of steel. Good morning, or, whatever time you're watching this, Because honestly, it doesn't even matter anymore. Yeah, you, the one everybody's whispering about, the one they're trying to explain, the one they can't get a grip on because you keep doing things that don't fit inside their tiny little boxes. And look at you, still breathing, still moving, still confusing the hell out of people who swore they had your whole storyline mapped out. They thought they had you figured out like some easy little puzzle from a cereal box. Until you went and did that. And suddenly, everyone lost control trying to explain how you did it. Isn't that wild? Isn't that kind of hilarious? They're over there sweating, stuttering, glitching like old software, while you're just sitting there like, yeah, I'm good. You know what gets me? It's the way people who never believed in you suddenly become experts on your process. They're on group calls, long paragraphs, shaky voices, wide eyes, trying to break down your formula. Meanwhile, you're like, bro, I literally just trusted myself. But that's the thing about you. You weren't supposed to get here. Not by their rules, not by their timeline, not by their expectations. They wanted you predictable, small, apologetic. They wanted you boxed, labeled, and easy to explain at family gatherings. But you walked in with that quiet storm energy, that I'm not here to fit in, I'm here to disrupt look in your eyes. And suddenly everything flipped. You ever notice how people start malfunctioning when you stop begging for permission? Yeah, that's exactly what happened. The minute you stopped shrinking, the minute you stopped waiting for validation, the minute you said, all right, this is my life now, they started unraveling like weak threads. And the funniest part? They're not losing control because you failed. They're losing control because you succeeded, because you did something they had already removed from your future, because you shattered the version of you they were comfortable with, because you stopped playing along with the script they wrote without your consent. You ever think about that? How much they needed you to stay predictable, how much they needed you to stay the safe version of yourself, so they could feel smarter, stronger, more in control. But you weren't built for their comfort. You were built for impact, for disruption, for that unsettling kind of greatness that keeps people awake at night whispering, how the hell did they pull that off? And listen, I know you didn't do any of this because you wanted applause. You didn't do it for revenge either. You did it because something inside you snapped in the best way possible. You hit that point where you were like, I'm tired of being afraid of myself. And once you unlocked that, yeah, that was the real plot twist. Because when you start acting from truth instead of fear, you become unexplainable. People can describe loud, attention-seeking chaos, but they can't explain quiet, internal rebirth. They can't explain resilience that comes from scars they never saw you heal from. They can't explain the strength of someone who survived storms they didn't even know existed. And that's why they lost control, because they weren't reacting to your achievement. They were reacting to the fact that they underestimated the wrong person. You didn't ask, you didn't warn, you didn't announce. You just leveled up. Out of nowhere, from the dirt, from the pressure, from the doubt, from the nights where you thought you were done, from the days where you kept going with nothing left but stubbornness and a heartbeat. And now, look at you. Uncomfortable for all the right people. Inspiring for all the right people. Confusing to everyone who thought you were finished. Let me tell you something real. When people can't explain you, they try to contain you. When they fail to contain you, they try to break you. And when they fail to break you, they panic, they spiral, they lose control. Not because you're dangerous, but because you're free. And freedom, real freedom, terrifies people who never found their own. You scare them because you're unpredictable, because you don't move on their schedule, because you keep reinventing yourself like you've got nothing to lose, because every time they think they finally got you, you show up with a version of yourself they never saw coming. You know what that is? That's power. Not the loud, aggressive kind people fake online. The real kind. The kind that comes from surviving silence. The kind that comes from struggling with no witnesses. The kind that comes from choosing yourself even when nobody clapped. And that power? Yeah, you earned that. Piece by piece, loss by loss, breakdown by breakdown, rebuild by rebuild. And you didn't even brag, you just transformed like a quiet wildfire. And now, you're the topic, the headline, the rumor, the shock, the story that doesn't add up. The impossible result standing right in front of them. They lost control trying to explain how you did it because deep down they know the truth. You didn't just do something unexpected. You became someone they're not equipped to understand. Because honestly, once people realize they can't predict you anymore, everything in their world starts glitching. It's like their brain goes, wait, hold on. This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't part of the script. And they start replaying your entire life in their head, trying to figure out the moment you changed, the method you used, the secret you unlocked, unaware that the truth is way simpler and way more uncomfortable for them to accept. You didn't have a shortcut. You didn't have a secret mentor hiding in the shadows. You didn't stumble across some magical cheat code. You just stopped doubting yourself. You stopped begging the world to understand you before you moved. You stopped giving people front row access to your growth. And that tiny shift, that was enough to turn you into the version of yourself that they never prepared for. And that's the part that messes with them the most. Because people who thought they were above you suddenly feel behind. People who used to talk down to you suddenly feel small. People who treated your silence like weakness suddenly realize it was discipline. People who mistook your patience for passivity suddenly see you were sharpening something they couldn't see. It's wild how fast their tone changes when you stop giving them emotional discounts. How fast their voice shakes when they talk about your name now. How fast their mood collapses the moment someone says, "Did you hear what they achieved?" You ever notice that? That little microsecond where their smile drops, where their eyes flicker, where their chest tightens like they accidentally swallowed a brick. Yeah, that's the sound of someone realizing they misread your entire blueprint. And it hits them harder because you didn't announce anything. You didn't post a countdown. You didn't give them spoilers. You didn't warn them to brace themselves. You just acted. Quietly, strategically, almost casually, like it was just another day in your world. Meanwhile, it's shaking their identity. They're sitting around, pacing, ranting, trying to explain your results to people who honestly didn't even ask. They're pulling up screenshots, timestamps, old conversations, trying to prove to themselves that they always knew you had potential, even though they were the first ones who doubted you. It's funny, the way people rewrite history whenever you evolve. They start pretending they supported you from day one. They start acting like they were proud of you the whole time. But their voice betrays them, their face betrays them, their energy betrays them. Because deep down, they know they weren't celebrating you. They were betting against you. And when someone bets against you, watching you win feels like a personal attack to them. That's why they're spiraling. That's why they're fumbling their words. That's why they're struggling to explain what happened. Because your success wasn't supposed to touch them. But it did. It hit something in them they've been trying to avoid. It exposed the fact that they never truly believed in themselves. And watching you rise forces them to confront that uncomfortable truth. You know what kind of power that is. The power of becoming undeniable. Not loud, not aggressive, just undeniable. The kind of presence that doesn't need to shout because the results do all the talking. The kind of energy that makes people rethink their entire worldview just because you exist in it. And you earned that. Through the nights you cried in silence. Through the days you felt invisible. Through the moments you questioned yourself. Through the phases where everything felt pointless but you kept waking up anyway. Through the seasons where all you had was instinct and refusal to quit. People don't understand that kind of journey. They want a clean narrative, a cute little story, a simple explanation. But you're not simple. You're layered. You're complicated in the most beautiful way. You're the product of battles they've never even seen. And that's why they lost control trying to explain how you did it. Because there is no explanation. There is only transformation. Real, gritty, internal transformation that can't be summarized in one sentence and can't be replicated by someone who never stepped into the kind of darkness you crawled through. Keep breathing into that. Keep moving with that. Keep letting them glitch while you grow. Because every version of you they fail to explain becomes another version they have to fear, respect, or quietly study while pretending they're not watching. Not because your win hurt them, your win exposed them. Your growth highlighted everything they refused to grow through. Your courage highlighted every moment they chose comfort. Your discipline highlighted every excuse they recycled for years. You're not just a person to them anymore. You're a mirror. And mirrors terrify people who haven't done their inner work. That's why they're out here scrambling for explanations, like their life depends on it. They're giving long, shaky monologues like they're auditioning for a documentary on your life. They're piecing together theories like you're some mystery case. They're overanalyzing every detail of your journey except the part that actually matters. That you were the one who stayed when everyone else quit. And look at the irony. They made fun of your silence once. They mocked your solitude. They laughed at your low seasons like it was entertainment. But it was in that silence where you rebuilt your entire foundation. It was in those quiet nights where you grew sharper, colder, wiser. It was in that empty space where you found strength no one taught you, resilience no one prepared you for, and clarity no one warned them about. You didn't rise because the world supported you. You rose because the world doubted you. And doubt is a dangerous fuel for someone who knows how to turn pain into propulsion. That's the part they can't wrap their head around. They're used to people shrinking under pressure, breaking under opinion, collapsing under fear. But you did the opposite. You took every insult, every dismissal, every condescending smile, every subtle jab, and you used that energy like it was currency. You ever notice how people get nervous when you stop reacting to their nonsense? The minute you stop defending yourself, they start defending their own guilt. The minute you stop explaining your moves, they start explaining your name. The minute you level up quietly, they start falling apart loudly. It's because they counted you out in public, and you rebuilt yourself in private. And nothing humiliates a critic more than being proven wrong without being acknowledged. That's what's eating them alive. The fact that you didn't give them a heads up. The fact that they didn't see it coming. The fact that you grew without their permission. The fact that you succeeded without their involvement. The fact that you're living in a chapter they said would never exist. And now, the narrative is slipping out of their hands. They can't control the story anymore. They can't define you anymore. They can't minimize you anymore. They can't pretend they helped when they didn't. They can't pretend they believed when they mocked you. That's why they're losing control. Not because you changed, but because your change proved you never needed them. Not because you won, but because your win revealed who they've always been. You're touching nerves they didn't know they had. You're triggering insecurities they pretended didn't exist. You're awakening fears they avoided facing for years. You're living proof that their excuses were never valid. And that realization is hitting them harder than anything you've ever said. People don't panic when you follow the path they expect. They panic when you become someone they have no vocabulary to describe. They panic when your name carries weight they can't comprehend. They panic when your presence shifts the atmosphere without you saying a single word. And you've stepped into that phase effortlessly, not even intentionally, just naturally, through growth they didn't think you were capable of. Your existence is disrupting comfort zones. Your progress is rewriting old assumptions. Your success is cracking open truths they tried to bury under jokes and fake confidence. It's wild, isn't it? How the same people who underestimated you are trembling while trying to explain you. They're emotional, they're frustrated, they're overwhelmed because they realize they missed the moment you became unstoppable. Because the wildest part, is that they honestly thought they were keeping up with you. They thought watching your social media, hearing a few rumors, catching glimpses of your life meant they understood your mind. But you were moving in layers they couldn't see. You were growing in chapters they didn't have access to. You were leveling up internally long before anything showed externally. That's the part that's frying their circuits right now. They assumed your silence meant nothing's happening. They assumed your distance meant they're stuck again. They assumed your low moments meant this is their limit. And then out of nowhere, you show up transformed in a way that doesn't match the version of you they stored in their memories. People don't handle that kind of update well. It messes with their ego. It messes with their predictions. It messes with the whole little narrative they wrote in their head about how your life was supposed to play out. Have you ever noticed how quick people turn into analysts when they're shocked? Suddenly they're experts on your trauma, experts on your personality, experts on your endurance, experts on your strategy. And every analysis sounds like a person desperately trying to convince themselves that you still fit inside the small version of you they created. But you broke that mold quietly. And when you break the mold people placed you in, they break too. Their confidence breaks. Their perception breaks. Their voice breaks when they talk about you. Because deep down, they know they never saw the real you. They only saw the version you let them see while you were healing behind the scenes. You know what hits them the hardest? It's the fact that you didn't even try to prove anything. You weren't trying to show off. You weren't chasing applause. You didn't evolve out of spite. You evolved out of survival, out of necessity, out of that deep internal push that says, I refuse to stay the person my pain tried to shape me into. And that kind of transformation is terrifying to people who never faced their own shadows. They want you to rise slowly, politely, gently. Something they can explain in a neat little sentence. But you rose like someone who had nothing left to lose. You rose like someone who stopped caring about their opinions. You rose like someone who finally accepted the fact that you were built for more than the world gave you credit for. That energy, they don't know how to process that. They can't categorize it. They can't simplify it. They can't wrap their language around it without tripping over their own insecurities. That's why every conversation about you sounds shaky. That's why their voice cracks. That's why their explanations sound like fiction, because they're trying to narrate a story they didn't witness. They're trying to explain resilience they never developed. They're trying to describe a strength that wasn't handed to you. It was earned in solitude, in silence, in the kind of emotional terrain they'd crumble in. And honestly, it's almost poetic. The same people who underestimated you are now the ones struggling the most just to articulate your name, without feeling tension in their chest. Every update about your life feels like another hit to their pride. Every win of yours feels like a reminder of the risks they were too afraid to take. Every success you touch feels like an echo of all the potential they wasted while they were busy watching you instead of working on themselves. They pretend they're happy for you, but their eyes tell the truth. Their posture tells the truth. Their sudden silence tells the truth. Their unnecessary explanations tell the truth. You can hear the frustration in their voice. That quiet, trembling frustration of someone who realizes the person they once dismissed has become someone they can no longer talk down to. And the craziest part? This is just you tapping into your power. Just the beginning of you stepping into your real skin. Not even your peak. Just your awakening. That's why they're losing control, trying to explain you. Because if this is what your early rise looks like, they have no idea what's coming next. Because the thing is, they were never prepared for the version of you that finally stopped asking for directions. They were comfortable when you were hesitant, second-guessing yourself, checking for approval before every little move. That version of you made them feel safe, predictable, superior. But the moment you started trusting your instincts, yeah, that's when everything in their world tilted. Because people who depend on your insecurity for their confidence will always panic when you heal. And you healed in ways they can't comprehend, in places they didn't even know were broken, at depths they've never touched within themselves. You didn't just grow, you outgrew the entire environment they tried to keep you in. And that's uncomfortable for them in a way they'll never say out loud. Have you noticed how their whole energy shifts when your name comes up? How the room gets weirdly quiet for a second? How their eyes dart around like they're trying to gauge how everyone else feels about you before they speak? Yeah, that's someone wrestling with the reality that you're not who they thought you were. And honestly, you never were. They just never looked deep enough to see past their own assumptions. But that's what growth does. It exposes the people who only loved you when you were small. It exposes the ones who supported you only as long as you stayed beneath them. It exposes the ones who clapped for you only because they weren't threatened yet. And I need you to understand something real. You didn't shock them because you changed. You shocked them because your change revealed theirs. It revealed who wasn't rooting for you. It revealed who was secretly hoping you'd fail. All right, listen up. Yeah, that's how you walk into a room like this, isn't it? Because you sitting there right now, need a greeting that hits the way your life is hitting. Suddenly, sharply, almost too real. So, hey you. Yeah, you. The one who's been feeling that weird pressure in the air, like someone turned a spotlight on your back without telling you. The one who's been catching yourself thinking, why does everything feel louder lately? Good. Because it's not your imagination. Someone dangerously influential just clocked your potential. And now you're all they think about. You ever notice how quiet life gets? Right before everything explodes. How your energy starts shifting before the world realizes why? And, look, I'm gonna tell you straight, because nobody else around you has the guts to say it. You've been moving differently. You've been making choices that don't fit the small version of you people got comfortable with. You've been leveling up in silence, and it's messing with the expectations everybody built around you. And the funny part? When someone powerful sees that, someone who actually knows what potential looks like, they don't get confused. They get curious, dangerously curious. You caught the attention of someone who doesn't waste their time, someone who doesn't scroll past talent, someone who doesn't ignore raw, unfiltered hunger when they see it flashing like a warning light from across the room. They watched you make moves you didn't even realize were being observed. And now they're invested. You ever feel like you're walking around with something heavy in your chest? Like your story's about to flip pages, too fast for you to keep up? That's not anxiety. That's transition energy. See, people think influential means money, fame, followers. But real influence is the ability to shift a room just by breathing, to change someone's whole trajectory by deciding they matter. And that's what happened to you. Someone with that level of power looked at you, really looked, and saw the cracks in you that didn't break, the scars that healed ugly but honest, the resilience you built without applause. And they said, that one's not like the rest. Do you understand how rare that is? Because most people walk through life invisible to the people who make decisions. But you rattled someone's instincts. You woke up the predator in someone who doesn't even flinch at normal human behavior. You made someone with real status pause. Now they're replaying your name in their mind. They're analyzing your tone, your walk, your choices. They're trying to figure out what makes you tick, what shaped you, what broke you, what rebuilt you. And they're not doing it out of kindness. No. They're doing it because your energy doesn't match your environment anymore. You're an outlier, the glitch in the system, the unexpected variable that ruins predictable patterns. Let me ask you something. Why do you think your life's been feeling tight lately? Why do you think your old circles aren't hitting the same? Why are you feeling this sudden pressure to change, evolve, move, escape? Because you're being observed, and powerful people don't study things without a purpose. You're carrying a type of potential that's dangerous when it wakes up. And, whether you see it or not, you've already started waking up. You've been breaking generational ceilings you weren't supposed to break. You've been thinking thoughts nobody in your bloodline dared to think. You've been wanting more than you were allowed to want. That's why they noticed you. People with influence. They have instincts sharper than knives. They can smell ambition trying to crawl out of its shell. They can hear confidence growing even when you whisper it. They can see worth even when you hide it under fear, guilt, or self-doubt. And you've been leaking potential like a busted pipe. Let me tell you something twisted. When someone powerful becomes obsessed with your potential, it's not because you're small, it's because you're dangerous. Not dangerous like reckless, dangerous like capable, dangerous like unpredictable, dangerous like someone who could break the mold if given an inch. Someone influential noticed that you're not built from the same weak material as the people around you. They noticed the part of you that refuses to stay down, the part that survived things nobody knows about, the part that still wakes up hungry when everyone else is tired. And, look, I know you've been feeling this tension in your soul, that itch, that pressure building in your chest. That's what happens when someone with power starts watching you. Your spirit feels the shift before your mind catches on. They didn't just notice you, they recognized you. That's different. That's deeper. Recognition means they saw something in you they've only seen in themselves. Something raw, something rising, something real. And here's the part that might mess with your head a little. They're not studying your potential because it's cute. They're studying it because it's disruptive. Because once potential like yours snaps into place, it doesn't just change your life. It shakes the ladder everyone else is climbing. They're obsessed because they know you're on the edge of becoming someone they can't ignore, someone they might need to recruit, or partner with, or watch out for, or elevate, or challenge. You're unpredictable right now, and that's the most powerful position you've ever been in. You're not boxed in, you're not defined, you're not settled, you're becoming. And becoming is terrifying to witness, especially for someone influential who understands what becoming truly means. It means transformation. It means acceleration. It means inevitability. It means if they don't pay attention now, they'll regret it later. So listen closely. Don't shrink. Don't soften. Don't apologize for the pressure you carry. Don't dim, because it makes people uncomfortable. When someone with real power sees you, you don't hide. You rise. You sharpen. You align. You prepare. You step into the version of you they sensed before you even believed it existed. Because whether you're ready or not, you've been noticed. And there's no going back now. You feel it in your bones before your mind even admits it's happening. That strange rush in your chest, like something's accelerating behind you. And, it's wild because you've been trying to play it cool, right? Acting like you don't sense the shift, pretending you're just tired or in your head. But your spirit keeps nudging you like, hey, pay attention, something's changing. That's the weight of eyes that aren't ordinary. Dangerously influential people don't watch out of boredom, they watch out of calculation. They watch because something in you is signaling movement. You're giving off that rising temperature energy, that about to break orbit vibe that people can't ignore once they catch it. You've been lighting up in places you thought were dark. Your name is circling in conversations you're not in. Your presence is getting noticed in rooms you haven't even stepped into yet. And it's messing with the alignment of people who thought they had you figured out. And, I need you to feel this for real. You didn't ask for this attention. You earned it without even trying. That's why it feels strange. That's why it feels heavy. You weren't performing. You weren't showing off. You were just existing in your raw, unfiltered, half-finished state. And somehow that was enough to wake up curiosity in someone who usually doesn't blink at anybody. There's something different about the way you handle pressure, the way you keep going, even when everything feels stacked, the way you don't crumble the way people expect. They noticed that. They noticed how you kept building when life kept subtracting, how you kept choosing growth when comfort tried to seduce you, how you kept standing even when you were shaking inside. People like that, people who've been through storms and climbed out with power in their hands, they recognize that kind of spirit instantly. It hits them like deja vu. And, You can tell something's shifted because even your environment's reacting. People are acting weird around you. Friends are glancing at you like they're waiting for you to announce something. Strangers stare a second too long. Even your silence feels louder. That's what happens when your potential gets exposed without your permission. It leaks, it spills, it spreads into the atmosphere like heat. You've been trying to downplay it, but influential eyes don't fall on quiet people by accident. They caught you in a moment where you weren't pretending anymore. They saw the version of you that's been trying to break out. They saw the resilience in your posture, the fire in your hesitation, the ambition hidden under your uncertainty. They saw a blueprint of someone who's about to step into a whole different lane, and it hit them harder than you think. Your name didn't land in their mind randomly. It stuck because something about you disrupts the normal pattern. They're used to people who crumble fast, brag early, fold easily, chase validation, break at the first sign of pressure. You're built different. You're built from experience, from pain that didn't destroy you, from nights that didn't swallow you, from lessons that hardened you in the right places and softened you in the right ones. They notice that emotional thickness you carry, that layered strength that comes from surviving things people don't talk about. The more they replay your name, the more they notice the quiet intensity under your skin, the way your eyes stay solid even when your voice feels shaky, the way you strategize without calling it strategy, the way you heal without announcing it, the way you dream without permission. Every little detail is adding up in their mind, forming a picture of someone they can't categorize easily. Someone like that becomes unforgettable fast. And the craziest part is that you haven't even unfolded fully yet. You're still mid-transformation. You're still sorting through old habits, still outgrowing old environments, still rearranging your identity. You're in that uncomfortable in-between phase where nothing feels complete and everything feels possible. And that's exactly the moment powerful people love to observe. They like catching someone right before the breakthrough, because that's where the truth shows. No mask, no polish, just raw trajectory. You've been walking around thinking you're behind in life, thinking you're late, thinking you're struggling, but someone with actual authority looked at you and saw a rising force, saw a future threat, saw an emerging leader, saw potential that refuses to stay dormant no matter how tired you get. They didn't see weakness when you hesitated, they saw restraint. They didn't see fear when you fell quiet, they saw calculation. They didn't see confusion when you doubted, they saw evolution. They're paying attention because something about you feels inevitable. And that feeling you keep trying to ignore, the heaviness, the awareness, the pressure building deep in your ribs, that's your spirit syncing with the reality that your life is not operating at the same level anymore. It's the sensation of being observed by someone who actually matters, someone whose attention could change everything, someone who sees in you what you've been fighting to believe about yourself. You're not imagining the shift. You're growing into it, and it's wild how your body knows before your mind signs off on it. That quiet tightness in your chest, that little jolt in your gut when you wake up, that sense that everything around you feels sharper. You keep brushing it off like, maybe I'm overthinking. But your intuition is reacting to being watched by someone who doesn't waste their eyesight, someone who studies patterns for a living, someone who's trained to notice the rare spark in people who don't even realize they're glowing yet. You've been walking around thinking you're just trying to get through your day, but your energy's been broadcasting something different, a kind of intensity you didn't even intend to reveal. It leaks through your posture, your tone, your silence, your choices. It's in the way you hesitate with purpose, the way you look at situations like you're analyzing the angles without even trying. People like them, influential minds. They pick up on that instantly. They catch the micro details most people miss. And you've been dropping signals without knowing it. That's why they can't get you out of their head. They saw something that doesn't fade. It's the way you carry your story, not loud, not flashy, but layered, heavy, earned. There's this quiet resilience under your skin that they can't shake. The kind that comes from surviving things privately, from rebuilding without applause, from learning lessons you weren't supposed to survive. Your strength isn't theatrical. It's surgical, controlled, intentional even when you're not trying to be. And yeah, people like that notice everything, especially the things you don't perform. You've been moving like someone who's preparing for a future nobody else knows about. You've been thinking deeper, feeling faster, analyzing clearer. You're sharper than you realize. You've been adapting quicker lately. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you're outgrowing your old identity at a speed that makes even you uncomfortable. That's the exact moment powerful people get intrigued. You're in that raw stage where your potential is loud, but your confidence hasn't fully caught up. And that combination is magnetic. You look like a storm forming, messy, intense, unpredictable, but undeniably rising. You're carrying pressure like it's normal. You're carrying ambition like it's oxygen. You're carrying pain like it's fuel. That's rare out here. And trust me, they're not looking at you because you're promising. They're looking at you because you're dangerous in the way only disciplined potential can be. You're unstable in the best way, on the edge of leveling up, on the edge of evolving into something that won't fit inside the life you're currently living. People with influence love catching someone at this exact point, because it's the moment right before the metamorphosis becomes obvious to everyone else. They saw the parts of you that aren't fully formed yet. They saw the future in your posture. They saw the refusal in your eyes. They saw the fire under your doubts. They saw the grit in your hesitation. They saw the discipline you haven't even acknowledged. You keep thinking you're not doing enough, but they're seeing someone who keeps moving in the dark, someone who keeps choosing growth even when it hurts, someone who keeps showing up even when their soul is exhausted. That kind of consistency is terrifying to people who've been around long enough to know what it leads to. You're closer to becoming that version of yourself than you realize, and that's exactly why you've become someone they can't stop analyzing. You're unpredictable, but in a focused way. You're rising, but without noise. You're shifting, but without seeking validation. That makes you a wild variable in a world full of predictable people. And you can feel their attention even if you pretend you can't. The air around your life feels charged. Your emotions feel deeper. Your instincts feel louder. Your path feels narrower. That's what happens when someone with real power tunes into your frequency. You start syncing with the version of you they already see. You've been underestimated for too long, and suddenly someone who doesn't underestimate anyone is paying attention to you with full intensity. It hits your system like electricity. It makes your spirit stand taller without your permission. It makes your mind start rearranging itself like it's preparing for something bigger. You're being watched by someone who actually understands the value of what you carry. Your potential isn't hidden anymore. Your rise isn't quiet anymore. Your name isn't small anymore. You're stepping into a chapter that feels unfamiliar, because this is the first time life is reacting to you, instead of you reacting to life. And even if you don't feel ready, you're already moving like someone who's been chosen, like you've been moving with this unspoken urgency, this quiet confidence that doesn't even feel like yours yet. But it's there, humming underneath everything you do. And it's strange because you're not even sure where it came from. You didn't wake up one day and say, yeah, today I'm different. It just happened, piece by piece, moment by moment, the kind of internal shift you only notice when someone else reacts to it. That reaction is what you're feeling right now. Someone with influence, real influence, not the fake social media kind, felt something in you click into place, and it caught their attention in a way you weren't prepared for. They saw the potential that's been brewing under your skin, the kind you've been battling with in private, the kind you keep trying to downplay because you're afraid of what it means for your life if you actually have to accept it. They saw what you're becoming before you even dared to imagine it. And that's why everything feels different. Your mood feels heavier. Your thoughts feel sharper. Your decisions feel more intentional. Even when you're confused, you're not walking through life like a background character anymore. There's this presence in your energy now, this subtle authority that even you don't fully understand, but they understand it. They recognized the shift instantly. People like that don't miss subtle changes. They're trained by life, by experience, by power, to see the smallest signals of greatness. They notice the way you're shedding old versions of yourself, the way your patience is changing, the way your silence has started to hold weight, the way your eyes don't carry the same fragility they used to. You've been evolving quietly, and they caught you mid-transformation. That's why their attention is locked. You're in that uncomfortable stage where your past can't hold you, your future is pulling you, and your present feels like a tight hallway you can barely breathe in. That tension inside you, they noticed it. They recognized the signs of someone on the verge of stepping into a version of themselves the world isn't ready for. And, you've probably brushed it off as overthinking, but deep down, you feel it too. There's something in the air around you, something charged, something expectant, like life's holding its breath around your next move, like the ground you walk on is preparing to rearrange itself. People like them don't become obsessed with randomness. They become obsessed with trajectories. They become obsessed with patterns that don't break. They become obsessed with souls that refuse to back down. You've shown them pieces of yourself you didn't even mean to. That persistence you carry, that grit you built from pain, that hunger that never seems to die, even when you're drained, that ability to rise every time life tries to fold you. They saw the fire under your exhaustion. They saw the discipline inside your frustration. They saw the vision hiding behind your doubt. You've been trying to figure out why your life feels like it's shifting gears without your permission, why your emotions feel deeper, why your instincts feel louder, why you keep sensing that something is waiting for you.